Right. So, but I don't know if you noticed something, right? Your solutions in Jupyter Notebook, or let's say Google Colab or anything else you might have used, it's just still within your space. It hasn't gone anywhere, right? So what happens? What do you do with that kind of a solution? You got CSV files, or you connected to a data warehouse somewhere or database, and you developed a solution. So what happens next? So that's what I'll rather just talk to you about. Now, your main challenge in a data science project, I'll just refer to a data science project as data science problem that you're going to be facing. So your main challenge is going to be around building implementation, right? Implementation of the data pipeline and implementation on how your model is going to be consumed. So your model consumption process. I just named all this. Sorry, but it was a quick presentation I put together. So if there's any lapse here and there, please just ignore. So it's going to be around the implementation. As you've gone through the program, you've seen that building those models on your Jupyter notebooks is quite straightforward. You've learned the process, if you've learned the strategy and the steps that you need to take to build the model. So you come up with a model that is, let's say, 75% effective. The other person comes up with a model that says, so let's focus on, let's say, F1 score, right? Comes up with an F1 score of 75%. Another person comes up with an F1 score of 90%. The truth is, these two models are sitting on your laptop. They've not gone anywhere. It's great, but it's not solving any problem. These models have to impact the business. They have to work for the business. But a 75% F1 score model working for the business, working in an app, making predictions or making classifications and all of that is far better than a 99% model sitting on the computer somewhere. Right? There's no basis for comparison. The model that is in production is much better. So how do you get your model to production? Now, your challenge is going to be about building an appropriate data pipeline and your model consumption process. Now, in order for me to talk about these two processes, I'm not going to lecture you on this. So you might have had lectures based on this. You might have watched videos based on this for different applications. So it could be implementation using Azure, implementation using AWS, implementation using pipeline or GitHub. So you could have just used GitHub Action or any other thing. We'll just generally speak about the kind of challenges that you're going to face using a case study. And this is a quick case study that I just wrote up today. It's loosely based on a real life case study that I worked on and I still continually work on improving. Is around an organization wants to understand different groups of customers that it has within a system, right? The people patronizing this. So let's see this like a financial institution, typically a bank. Now, a bank wants to understand its customers, the kind of customers it has. So, and then they want to use that to drive smart marketing and deeper personalization for their communications. So simply put, they want to use it to drive, let's say, email marketing, app push notifications and all of that. And you are the resident data scientist. You've been called to develop these clusters that is required and drive the implementation of the project, right? Of this project, of this data science project. Okay. Now, before I continue, are we all on the same page? Have anyone seen this kind of challenge before in their organization? Hello?
No, not for me.
Okay, but okay, but we did go through. Did we go through the unsupervised learning algorithms?
Yes,
clustering, yeah, k-means, hierarchical clustering, and all of that, and then maybe using CHOIS score to determine the right number of clusters, and then dig deeper, looking at the box plots and all of that, right? We're all familiar with that process.
Mr.
Not all of that anyway.
On our program, we haven't gotten to the part where they go through unsupervised learning, but it's a good content for me for them to learn about before they engage on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just getting started with the classification.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'll just try to maybe amend my explanations a little bit to fit in with what you're already used to. So you have a challenge, right? So, okay, let's say you already have 3 clusters, 3 groups of people that you have defined within your organization, and you're trying to predict which group a customer, belongs to. That becomes a classification problem, because you have three groups already. So you have group A, group B, and group C, and based on your historical data, you want to predict which group every customer belongs to. Right. So once you've done making that prediction of the group that the customer belongs to and everything, I'm sure you could do now, right? So you could do that and get that done. So assuming you've done that, you've created these groups. We know the group that each customer belongs to. So we could call them clusters, we could call them groups, we can call them anything. So we know this. Now the challenge is that, and you have this infrastructure within your organization. You have a data warehouse, right? Or a database where you have your data is stored. So let's say it's a transactional database or something you have where your data is stored. You have a communications platform. Just trying to make this as real as possible. You have a communications platform. Let's say something like Netcore. I don't know if anyone has heard of Netcore within the organization, or Smartech, or Estonia. Or like an advanced form of MailChimp, right? I think MailChimp is pretty popular, like an advanced form of MailChimp. So you have that you use for communications, or pushing out communications to your customers. You also have the Azure, architecture available to you. And let's say you have Python. So you have these 4 different kind of infrastructure available within your organization that you have access to. Now, what work have you done so far? So let's assume you've extracted the data from CAT. I'm just calling CAT. Okay.
Hi, Evans. Good evening. Thank you so much. I have a question. I'm not familiar with any of these things. What I'm familiar with is SAP and Oracle. Does it fall on any of this? And most of the transactions, most of the data I think we have at work actually is more or less on the B2B. The last mile data, because of the nature of the industry, we sell to trade partners who sell to the end users. Yes, we are trying to see how we can capture that last mile sale, which will help with all this what you're talking about. But most of the data we have is actually from the sales transactions that we actually sell to our trade partners. So I don't know, does it follow that? Oracle SAP, is it under any of those things you mentioned?
Okay, so what you just mentioned now, right, is actually the underlying kind of problem that I want us to discuss about solving. The fact that, and I was going to get to that by the time we get to how to solve the problem, the fact that every person's challenge in terms of implementing a data science problem is going to be very different. There is no one way of doing it. There is no one solution of doing it, right? The kind of infrastructure that I have will be different from the kind of infrastructure that you have. If you go online and try to look at videos and everything, it would most likely still be different. So the point I'm just trying to make with this quick presentation is that, how do you go about thinking of the best way to solve your problem? Because your problem is always going to be unique to you. In my experience, right, everything I have learned in classes, or everything I have been part of in teaching, or everything else, is always very different from what I face in reality. But what do? I kind of see myself as a impartial, on reliance on any kind of platform. You solve the problems based on the platform that is currently available to you.